Okay, we're getting more people coming in right now. Everybody who has come in, please identify who you are in the chat, and if you have an announcement, please put them in the chat. We appreciate it very much. We're also asking everyone to keep your microphones on mute because we need to make sure that only one person's being heard. We don't want echoes or interference. So I appreciate if everyone, we can all work together for this. And if you have questions, you use the reaction or the
Good
raise your
morning,
hand.
everyone.
So we're going to start. Rose, you there? Hello, Rose. Rose, can you hear Debbie? Hello? Hello, Rose, can you hear me? Hello? Okay. Where are you, Rose? All right. What happened? Rose Saul, can you hear me? Okay. Let me check. All right.
Rose, this is Chris. Can you hear me? Because I'm ready. Rose, your microphone is on, but your system is showing that something is interfering with it. Either way, we do need to start. Let's just try to start because it's now coming to 10:10.
Good morning. Okay, this is Deborah Greif. I am the co-chair with Ms. Rose Saul for the Provider Care Management Information Committee. We welcome everyone. We're going to try to get our co-chair Rose on. So I want to first thank everybody for coming, and I know you're all very interested in a lot of the changes that have been coming in reference for the ADM in reference to reimbursement. We will get to that in a while. We do have a PowerPoint, and we'll be having a few discussions. We're just trying to get our co-chair on, and this meeting will be recorded. So Christopher, push the record button.
It's already on.
All right. Okay, we'll figure out how to get Rose in a few minutes.
Before I do that, let me remind everyone on housekeeping rules. Manacocha, can you please mute yourself as a remind you? We do need to limit microphone procedures. Thank you. As to remind everyone, good morning. As I just said, we cannot have 3 or 4 microphones on. When the main speaker is speaking, she is the only one should be speaking. Everyone else should be muted. The hand raise is all there in instructions. As a reminder to people, questions and comments could be always put into the chat or their hand raise procedure, which is there in your keypad. Please use all your devices that are there. And to remind you, announcements, comments should be all into the chat. And anything anyone says, it is duly noted in our transcript. So anything we're saying to you, it is on. So please, let's be very careful and always check your Wi-Fi, which is on the left. And remind you, if you want to switch your device from a microphone to your phone, this little circle, lowercase I, can switch you into the phone mode, which will link you up. And you can still mute yourself from the phone as well, which is called *6. So as a reminder to everyone, once you see questions, raise your hand. We will identify you as there. So please, let's follow the housekeeping rules procedure. Let's have an easy meeting today, and let's show the courtesy and respect to anyone who is speaking. Now, please be careful with your Wi-Fi. As you know, they're updating to the new levels, we will be doing that as well. At this time, as a reminder, everyone should be muted. The main speaker right now is me speaking. This is Christopher D. Greif with no camera on today. So therefore, I'm going to introduce our co-chairs. First co-chair I'm going to introduce is Deborah Greif, parent co-chair. Deborah.
Good morning, everybody. Glad to see everybody here. And now, wait, Chris, introduce my co-chair, please.
Okay. Our next co-chair, if she's here, is Rose Sal, provider. Rose.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me better now. I'm Rose.
Yes, Rose. This is Chris. I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome, awesome. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see all of you on the call.
So as you see, there are two co-chairs. As you see, our name is Family Provided and Care Management Information Committee. So everyone who has information or likes to share, please put that into the chat. We will be doing announcements later on, so it still be good as well. At this time, I'm going to ask our co-chairs to who's going to go first to do. Are we doing the presentation first? Am I correct, ladies? You can shake your head because I can see Rose's head.
Yes, but before we do the presentation, I just want to welcome everyone to the Family and Provider. It says Care Management, not sure, but okay, Family and Provider Care Management Information Committee. This committee is designed for families and provider that I don't know if all of you recall in the past, we used to have what's called the Medicaid Service Coordination Committee, and this committee was replaced for the Medicaid Service Coordination Committee. So it is a family and provider. We are trying to, when somehow we incorporate a portion of care management in there as well, but right now it is a family and provider information committee. I'm happy to see all of you on the call. This committee meets every second Wednesday of the month to basically discuss, any issues, concerns, challenges, what is happening in our, with our services, with the people that we support, and within OPWDD. So it's really a great place to come and share information, and also any training opportunities that you would like to see happen on this call. We can also bring that forth. We look for speakers, anyone who have, to the presentation. We are coordinating together along with the CCOs. So we all collaborating together. It is a partnership with providers and family to make sure this committee runs smoothly. All right, should we move right along?
Deborah.
Yes, here I am. Okay, good morning, everybody. As you know, besides being the parent co-chair here, I'm also the chair of the Brooklyn Family Support Service Advisory Council. And yes, I am on the statewide, I represent Brooklyn, and I'm chair of the subcommittee for the ADM reimbursements, which we'll be talking about very soon. So with that, if you want, Rose, do you want us to have them do announcements first, or you want us to go ahead with the presentation? It's up to you.
I believe we should do the presentation first, and then we can go to announcement after questions are answered.
Okay. Do you want to? I'll start then. Okay. As you see on the screen, it says Family Support Reimbursement Updates. Okay. All right. Okay, sorry about that. So as you see, sorry about that. I'm very popular. Everybody likes to call me too. All right. As you see, this is the link if you had to go on, whether it's the OPD website or ours. So, Chris, move it to the next slide, please. Thank you. Okay. Now, okay. All I can tell you is if you see it says it shared the success of the let's see. As you see, this is a update about the different family support programs that have helped us. Chris, move to the next slide, please. This again, move it again. This is not the reimbursement one, Christopher. Okay. Thank you. Now we're here. Okay. We're going to talk about what's right now for family support contracted programs. As you see, there's advocacy, after school programs, behavioral support, crisis service, family counseling and training, information referral, parent, sibling support groups, recreation, camping, and see, respite, service access, social skills, special equipment and home modifications, transportation. Please go to the next slide, Chris. Okay. We have update to the family support material on the OPWDD website. And as you see, this is what was reported when we were at the statewide meeting that took place on September 22nd. Please, Chris, go forward to the next one. Now, if whoever doesn't remember, we have 19 counties. New York City, as you see, I'm going to point out, Metro is the Bronx and Manhattan. You have Brooklyn, Staten Island, and Bernard Feinson's stat is Queens. These are the allocations. As Christopher is just circling. New York City, we get in Brooklyn 11.7%, so approximately $409,000 and $821. Please, as you see, the total is approximately, this is for the whole statewide, 3,500,000, and that's for now. Please go to the next one. Okay, now we come to what's been aggravating to a lot of people is as you know, they updated the program. What we asked for the statewide and the parents is to be consistent, meaning whatever can be allowed in, say, Long Island Region 5 or 4 is also allowed in Region 1 and the others. So as you see, these are the allowables. Recreation activity programs, including but not inclusive to integrated community-based activity fees, supplies, instrumental and music lessons, like example fees, guitar lessons, piano lessons, braille bingo cards, playing cards and dominoes, cooking classes, but not resulting in a certification, which means they're not going to become a professional chef. Theater class workshops, museum memberships like arts classes, crafts, gym membership, fitness classes, swim lessons, sports lessons for the fees, like example, soccer, baseball, bowling, martial arts, as you see, karate, taekwondo, dance, ballet. Please don't ask me what hippotherapy is. We were all trying to figure that out. Horseback riding lessons. Sensory items, but not exclusive to a balance chair, beanbag chair, indoor swing, mini trampoline for single user, climber, fidget items, mats, items are not covered or available through other means, but it has to be the committee's reviewed and approved. Respite, camp in compliance with the ADM. Electronic devices in compliance with the ADM. Supplements approved by clinician and outlined in the individual's treatment plan. Legal fees related to guardianship and special needs trust funds. As you know, if you are applying to become the guardian of your child and also set up the special needs trust funds, it does cost money to set these up. Then we have clothing as necessity, or if there are specific needs related to the intellectual developmental disability IDD as clinically indicated in the life plan or with other appropriate documentation requested by the DDRO, and other items are deemed by DDRO appropriate and reimbursable. Now, before I go on to anything else, I want everyone to know that this was set up by Central Office / Albany. This was not everything that we wanted to see. I'm not complaining about what's on there, but these are some of the issues. Chris, please go to the next one. Next slide. Now, as you see, the non-allowable. As you see, there's healthcare, personal care items, including but not limited to items covered by Medicaid or healthcare insurer, including incontinence, medical supplies and prescription medications, exercise equipment, personal training, life coach services, household expenses, including but not limited to appliances, large and small, washer, dryer, blender, and AC air conditioner. I'll answer the question later about travel, transportation, including but not limited to vehicles, example, cars, motorcycles, bikes, trikes, scooters, automobile repairs, battery fuel, hotel lodging, mileage, and travel costs. Fiscal expenses include but not limited to real properties, including tax bills, finance charge, sale tax, shipping fees, duplicate expenses, otherwise covered, included, but not limited to upgrades to the home care based service waiver. Funded items, service items related to the waiver program, participation, equipment, repair, placement. Then you have the education, as you see, college courses, certificate programs, homeschool supplies, after school and tutoring programs. You have miscellaneous, but not limited to regular and ongoing subscription plans, including cell phone plans, GPS tracker devices, video audio monitoring devices, luxury items, swimming pools, hot tub. Please go on to the next slide, Chris. Okay. Now, this ADM is set out by the Family Support Reimbursement. It includes eligibility requirements for reimbursement, how to request and process reimbursements, and the roles and responsibility of the Family Support Provider Agency, individuals, and families. This ADM it was implemented last year, will have a July 1st effective date to allow providers time to update their contracts / work plans and allow for trainings within the regional office provider community. Now, as you see, to get the guidance, you see was on the website, and these are also what was presented to us. First, go to one more slide, please. Now, as you see, that they explained how the application, the respite verification form, family satisfaction surveys are now available in 12 languages in New York State, and it's on the OPWDD website. Now, they also tell you about how to do dispute resolution process is being updated, which it is, to clarify how items being reviewed by central office can be appealed. Central office has clarified what is needed in a proper justification in order to review items. Please, Chris, go to the next slide. Okay. Now, this is Nick Hobson is the statewide coordinator. You please make sure you take this down. You know, I am the chair of the advisory, but for the subcommittee for the ADM reimbursement. Now, I understand everything. First of all these is listed on the Advisory Council website as well as OPWDD's website. Now, I'm going to bring up a little issue before I ask for questions that we brought up. When we originally, Chris, go on to the next slide in a few minutes. When we first were told this and given the first training.
Coach, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
This is
if
the
I
last
do that,
slide?
yes, and if I do that, goes to questions. So I'm leaving it here. So give people a chance to please write the information here.
Okay. What I'm asking everybody is, please, you can complain. You have the right to say you're not happy with what's on the non-allowable list. I don't blame you. It's more. But first of all, I want to give an explanation for everything. Family support was designed, and reimbursement was one of the first programs because it was easier to do this as a pilot project. Now, some parts of New York State would allow for certain items or things, but some didn't. The major rule is the child must live at home with you, not in a residential school, but they need to be living at home. That's what's clarified for family support services. This is not my rules. This is what was designated and set up. Also, you do not have to have a care manager, or even before we had MSCs, you didn't have to have one. Parents could fill out the forms, write their own justification. But what got very difficult was then they wanted medical justification. Well, I can tell you that a lot of the medical professionals were not happy, not because because you'd be surprised, more understand about developmental disabilities than people realize, but they don't have the guidelines to understand what kind of justification. Now it's just going to be for medical devices. In reference for diapers, which happens to be a very, very popular and important issue, I'm going to give you a brief explanation. If your child does not have Medicaid, and Medicaid does cover diapers, of course, the quality of the diapers are not great, and they may not always give you enough. But there's another problem. Not every parent whose child is under 18 who is OPWDD eligible and receiving family support services will not maybe have the Medicaid waiver. So the parent is not going to be able to get diapers, we understand, through Medicaid because the child doesn't have it. Because if you're under 18 years of age, it is the parent's responsibility to pay for the items needed by a child. I've also have brought this information up to elected officials, and we need to also work on how to improve the quality and quantity of diapers that are allocated for our children who have many issues, whether incontinent, either way. It is a very hard, difficult point. I've also told families, if you do have Medicaid, file for a fair hearing, and also bring this up to your local elected official. So I want you to know that I did bring this up to the statewide. I'm quoting you what I said to them. I also told them that before you tell us that the doctors have to do justification for everything, they need guidelines. Now I know it's the way they changed the form. I also want everyone to know, please don't blame any of the local DDROs. They were not involved with this at all. This was only done through the central office. So it is a very, when we saw this, our mouths dropped because some of the example, I have a family who they said, you can't have skiing. Now, the kid, that's how the sibling was able to connect with his sister and brother. So you have so many different things that they're not covering. And we also brought up to them, why don't you let the families write up a justification? So as you see, the non-allowable list is much, much more bigger than the allowable list. But as I brought up to them, we're working very hard to make sure that this program stays in effect, but we know that you have to have the right receipts, the correct original receipt they must have. They need to, if your child does not have a care manager, you write up why, and you say you only want family support services, which you are allowed. You don't have to. And no, I'm not trying to put the care managers out of business, but some families only want basic family support services, and that's their right. It's not what I've decided, it's what's right for them. But at the same time, we told OPWD, you need to make it more consistent, but you went from being very easy to practically impossible to do it. One other thing is some of agencies which was approved before, and it was also approved because I also want everybody to be aware. Any of the reimbursement forms in the past and now, the state controller looks at it, and so does the Department of Budget. They're audited a lot. So that's why it's very important when we do when we say we have to reimburse for our child, we make sure that's why it's very important you only have a receipt that has the child's needed items. You have to justify because it's supposed to be for the child, not for me, the parent, the child. And they do take this seriously, and they do look at these, and they audit OPWDD and regularly. But it's important for also OPWDD to know that you go from one extreme to the other, you need more intense training. Now, the state, as you see, we brought this up to them. There's certain items here that I look at the non-allowable. Well, I'm sorry, but if the child doesn't have Medicaid, and mom and dad's insurance is not going to cover, they need to work something out. We need to figure out what to do for a child who may need diapers. Sales tax has never been included. So please, before you say anything to me, that's not my rulings. Anything I'm speaking about is not me who has set it up. This is OPWDD who set this up this way. So with that, if you have questions, please raise your hand so we can call on you. You can also put comments. Let me finish. Please put your also questions into the chat. If I can't answer you, I will get back to you. Okay? Yes, Christopher?
You do have a question in the chat that just came in.
Yes.
Before I do that, Rosal, do you have a question for Debbie?
No, not a question, but Nick had put in the chat and I was looking it up. I wanted to know what is hippotherapy, so we did put it in the chat if you want to look it up.
Okay.
So noted.
That would be nice also if Nick could unmute for a moment and explain what hippotherapy is, please. Even I need to know. I never heard of it before. Are you there, Nick?
Hi, yeah, I'm here. I never heard of it before either, so I was really curious, so I looked it up.
Yes.
And it's a physical, occupational, and speech therapy that utilizes natural gait and movement of a horse to provide motor and sensory input based on improvement of neurological function, sensory process, and use for patients with physical and mental disorders. Just has an interesting name for hippotherapy.
Yeah, it does. I thought it meant I will tell you, when we first saw that upstate, well, we were allowed to meet virtually, but we're looking at it and we all said at the same time, "What's hippotherapy?" They didn't answer us, but we kept asking. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. I even said, "What is?" And myself and my counterpart from Long Island, Mary Fassan, we both says, "What do we have to get on the back of a hippo now?" That's what we at first thought because we never heard of that. But thank you for clarifying that. I really appreciate it. And
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Okay.
Excuse me. Can Nick please put that information into the chat, please?
I think he did.
Yeah, it's in there.
It's already
Thanks.
in the chat.
It's in the chat. But I asked Nick because before I start trying to read the chat, because this was burning in me for this time. What is it? So I appreciate. Who else has questions?
Before I do the hand raise, before I do the reading the chat, Sandy Neighbor, your hand was up, going in and out. Do you have a question?
I do. Do you hear me?
Okay, Sandy. Yes, I can. What is it, my dear?
Okay, great. Okay, so let's say you want to get reimbursement for attorney's fees for a supplemental needs trust.
Yes.
Does something have to be put in the life plan pertaining to that before you can do it?
They want it. They have said they need it.
So how do you put it in there?
your
Ha-
care
ha-
manager and you have to meet and have it rewritten up for
Okay,
additional family support service.
so that has to appear. Okay.
Right.
So
And
that,
what I suggest also, Sandy, and all these care coordinators there listening to me, if you're not happy with how it has to be put in the life plan or how they want it to be done so it's correctly done, you have the right to email Nick Hobson saying, I want correct justification on how I'm supposed to do this, and I want a training to make sure, because if you don't put it in the life plan correct, who gets hurt? The parent with the child. So I'm suggesting that if you want intense clarification. Okay, anything else, Sandy?
thank you very much. No, that's it for now. I appreciate your answer.
You're welcome. Yes.
Mary from Care Design, you had your hand up.
Hi. Mine was not a question, more of a comment. Debbie, one of the things that are very frustrating is the justification from the doctors that now it's
Yes.
being required. Doctors do not know how to write it. It's a handful of people that can really, especially when the parents are asking for clothing reimbursement, how do you write it from a doctor perspective? So it's not the issue of us adding the addendum to the life plan to include our justification, but the fact that the letter has to come from a physician. I believe that it's been our experience, they're not knowledgeable in what to write, what exactly to, and sometimes the families do get denied because their justification from the doctor was not specific to, like, tied to a diagnosis, tied to the need.
I totally, okay. Let me tell you what the full statewide committee members were. We're not happy with that. So I appreciate that nobody here is shooting the messenger. I appreciate that. I put up, and I would like, what you're saying is correct, and we do have to train the physicians. But the other problem I brought up, which is tied to this, you have to make an appointment to have them write the letter. Then after they write the letter, you have to wait, and then they may make you come in for another visit. What happens if you don't have the money to do it? Which does happen. Not everybody has great long-term relationships with their physicians or who are knowledgeable of the child and the developmental disability. And that also includes the no putting down of the Article 16 and 28 clinics. So please don't say no. It is not always easy to get it, and it is frustrating. What I have requested is that they need to have guidelines for the medical profession. I understand doctors are super busy and they can't just go do the trainings, but they could have the guidelines set up even on their website so that the medical professionals can follow that. But it's very hard. But one thing for the parents, if care managers can help the parents who are so overwhelmed, like if you say the child needs clothing because they chew on it, they eat it, they like to rip it, they're incontinent, they don't care when they have to go, it don't matter where they are, boom, clothes got ruined. And it is related to their developmental disability. Help the family, knowing they need that, just if they need the justification letter, help them write it out too, together as a team, and make sure it's seen by OPWDD that you with the parent wrote this out, and also you got the letter for justification from the doctor. Because I spoke to the doctors who take care of myself and my son, and they said, we understand how to write for him because we've known him his whole life. But they said for the newer ones who don't know, it helps when you come in with you help them write something out. And when they see your signature, like you're from Care Design, you have this license, that does help more than you realize. But you still have every right to complain, and you want OPWDD whenever they make these changes and whatever they require, you have to have the guidelines so that everybody can do it correctly. So you can blame
Yeah,
for Nick Hobson.
I agree. There's some doctors that we do give the families via email, like what to include in the blurb. Some doctors are very welcoming to that recommendation.
True.
There are others that fight it. They want to speak to you. They want to hear
No.
why. And that it is frustrating for the families. That's what I was.
Oh, I know that. I
Mhm.
know that. I went to two resource family support fairs, and remember you saw me bounce around asking, "You have a reimbursement program? What's the problem? Can't get the medical justification letters in time." I brought that up. I really did.
Thank you. Thank you. That helps.
You're welcome. But it helps me too when you say that. You tell them we need this and why. Be very specific. Don't. In fact, one thing, even if you're not happy with how the changes OPWDD made. I mean, trust me. I know we're all angry. We want to scream, yell, but you tell them that because you didn't give justification or guidelines for the medical doctors, these parents need help because not every parent understands their child's developmental disability because it changes and it's a very hard thing to figure out at times. So let them know that they're required. They want the change. They need to put it in writing. So I'd appreciate, that helps too. So you explain to them why you need it. And the more people who email Nick, and you can email me and CC me. Please CC me. Fine. I'm not upset. Everybody has the right to be concerned, worried. So that's that. But please, everyone, do that. Is any and thank you.
Medical chair.
Yes.
We do have questions in the chat, so I'd like to. This
Go
one
ahead.
is this one. It's similar that you just mentioning about doctors as well.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yes.
and just to remind you that so many questions, it is there a way to inform all the doctors who writes a justification letter? Question mark.
Well, as I just said before,
Mhm.
what you're saying is correct, but we need to you have to let Nick Hobson and you CC me that the doctors are requesting what kind of guidelines are you asking for?
Debbie,
Simple. Yes, Rose?
yeah, so I just wanted to add, I know in the past OPWD is really good, like, with creating some type of a template, and I think that's where sounds like providers are coming from. Can we get some kind of a template from OPWD to kind of like, guide the doctors, with a couple, maybe 2 or 3 templates on how to document this justification? I think that might be helpful. Maybe that's
Rose,
something we can ask for support.
Rose, the statewide, the 2 times we had meetings and we did the training, we requested that. We have been requesting that. But you know what'll help? Providers as well as parents need to let Nick Hobson know. Because this will make it easier. Because if you walk in with a template, like the basic guidelines of what they're talking about and what they need to like, the child has to we have to constantly change child's clothing due to they have these part of it in the autistic spectrum. Maybe they like to eat their clothes. If a child has Prader-Willi, the doctors don't always understand, but also it helps when help the families also explain. But OPWD, it is their responsibility to set up the guidelines for the medical profession. And we have requested it, and I have still not seen it on the website. And I will tell you, all the councils, of course, New York State has been bringing that up. So please, everyone, write to them. Not just give them the facts why you need this. Other questions?
Yeah, before you continue, just to let everyone know that the other borough is actually bringing that up right now to Delia Tucker. She was in the Bronx, so just letting everyone know she is working on that. So be alert on that. The next
And
question.
please, wait a second, Chris. Please don't attack her either. She did not put this down. She didn't set it up this way. But if you need to let her know also how hard it is for justification, please let her know too. You can CC me for that too. Okay, Chris, sorry. Go ahead.
The next question is there are many children with autistic and or with other diagnosed that are epilepsy out there, that why can't devices be protect them to GPS like it's not reimbursement. This is a looks like a parent that came in uh mentioning these issues I think we just discussed. It's in the chat.
Okay, dear parent, I don't see. I agree about the GPS tracker devices, um, because that's one thing I do agree. Many of our children are not, no matter how hard we try, and we do try hard to get them travel trained, or some of our children love to run away from mom and dad because it's fun. They think it's fun. Our hearts are in their mouth. So when you are appealing and they say no, 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 you need to explain what the GPS tracker can do and why, if you have used it, why does it help? That you need to give examples of why you need it. That's what the justification is. And you have to, you're going to be, one thing I'll tell everyone, reimbursement is not a mandated service. None of us have to really get it, honestly. It's not mandated like going to school is. But if you know, because your child is famous for walking away, running away, like you go to the mall, next thing you know, your child broke out of your hand and going running down because they want to go to that one store they like. You need to have peace of mind, so you need to explain why you need this, what it does for the child and you.
Sorry. Hi, how are you? I'm Christina. I'm a care manager, actually, supervisor. My thing is
Yes.
I have a family that would really benefit from it. I just saw it on the non-allowables. So I
It
just
is
was thinking
not allowable. It's not my idea.
okay. Okay.
It's not. First of all, I want you to know when they set this list up, the statewide
I
parents, we didn't have a say. So before everyone says, "Oh, you could," if I could have done something, I could point out on those list things I don't want to. I wanted to not be on the non-allowable. But if if you know the parents are, the kid says they run,
I will
have
email
to be
Nick
just
and CC you.
right.
Okay.
Another one thing to also do to make sure, and I've done this with some of my families, make an appointment to meet where, if whatever precinct in the New York City you live, set up a meeting with the community affairs and the public safety officers, because if your child's known as a runner and you let them know, they also let the fire stations know, the EMS stations know, so they can they instead of like, they're more quick to look. We've done that with a few families in my area, and it works. So please, even if you go to the meetings, even you go to the meeting for the family, and raise your hand and tell them, this is the issue. Can we set up a meeting? They'll be very happy because nobody wants our children to get hurt. And you would be surprised how many police officers are parents of children with developmental disability, and also in New York City Fire Department, sanitation, a lot of city workers. So please do that. Also, let you go to your local community boards. Why? And bring this up that we need more help. And please don't throw me under the bus. I am a member of my local community board, and they take us very seriously. But we have politician staff there. Sometimes the politician's there. So Christopher's put the links to the precinct councils and the community boards. Please visit them. Let them know. They will try their best to help, because this is what we have to do to protect our children. Okay, Chris, what's the next question or concern?
This one is actually a question that somebody put in, and I really did answer, but I will answer this question. As to remind people, this is something that it is actually on your chat system. So I'm going to just read this question. Can we get an email with all information and members who attended the sheet? Now, I'd like to remind everyone, you're talking about an all technology attendance sheet. There is no such thing as attendance sheets, unless we're going back to the 90s. Second, if you want to save any of those announcements, and I don't know what, there's a noise in the background, but let me just clarify. Let me just make sure. There's an echo. If anyone is on, I'm going to remind everyone to please keep your microphones muted when the speaker is speaking, unless you're Rosal or me. Madam Chair, I just mute you and you're remuting yourself again.
I'm not trying to do background.
See, that's better. As a reminder to everyone, if you go into your chat box, next to the right, there is a down arrow, looks like a number A, and it says download the chat. Please click on that right now. That will save whatever information you want as well. That will show people's announcements that should be going on to the chat, as I said in the beginning, as well as all information. So questions, yes, are going to be on that chat, but unfortunately, announcements is there as well. So whatever you want your announcements for that agency or that person, you have that information available. So I hope that answered. That was the last question at this time. Before we continue, does anyone have any questions for Deborah at this time? As a reminder, please raise your hand. Because I think we really had a good conversation on this.
Another person raised their hand.
Hi, is there a way to go back to the slide so that we, in case no one had a chance to read Mr. Campos' email? That will be helpful if you can.
When
Only
you
if
mean
you can.
Nick Hobson's email? Go
Yes.
back to
If you
where
can.
the
Not a problem. 1 second.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. By the way, while Chris is doing that, I just want everyone to know that we have to be very consistent and positive, because otherwise OPWDD will not listen to us. So please, everybody, make sure we keep advocating. If you feel that you need more trainings also on how to fill out the forms, you may let your supervisors know. I'm talking about for the professionals, the parents. The advisory councils will be very happy. Anytime a family's asked us, we can set up training so you can understand how to fill the form out. We know that it's not easy, but we're willing to, and he is trying to get back to that name for you. But I'm asking everyone, if you feel also the medical professions, you just keep up on them, saying, okay, but my doctor wants this, needs to know why or how. Also, make sure that also everybody has to remember one thing. If, in New York City is on a different fiscal year than the rest of the state for OPWDD services, he's having trouble getting back to that. He'll try. But New York City is from July 1st to July 1st of this year, 2023, and our fiscal year ends in June 30th, 2024. The New York State is April 1st to March 31st. So that means that's Westchester, Rockland County, talking about the counties next door to us, as well as Long Island, which Nassau and Suffolk are together. So remember that if you're working with families who live in that area and they're on a totally different time, they're on a different fiscal year. So, by the way, I see. Okay, anybody else? I'm trying to. Chris, have you been able to put
I'm
that
going to
up
be
or
putting
not?
into the chat in the next few minutes. It seems I'm having a little Wi-Fi issue right now. So right now the PowerPoint is offline. So I'm trying to get it back on, but I am going to be typing into the chat in the next few minutes.
Also, we'll have we'll have Nick's email on the
Yeah, also, just to remind everyone, that information is also available on our website. That Nick's information is also located in our advisory council website, as well as the DD one, which I'll be sharing that information and later on.
Okay. Marilyn Sanchez, do you have any other questions, or that we answered you?
No, that was perfect. That was the only first was that comment. It wasn't a question because we know for sure. And I think sending those emails, it's a form of advocacy that we haven't been implementing. That's a great idea, and I think that will work.
Yes, it will. Because trust me, if they just hear from me, they go, "Well, it's just you." Well, no, I'm sorry, it's not just me. I know how. Trust me, I know how to write up justification because I, as a parent, when offered by OPWDD, took every training. But not everybody has the time or the ability. But I always want, when it was MSCs and now with care managers, I want them to be completely trained. And you have to keep doing it over and over again because you see, they always make these little bit of changes that you don't realize. So yes, it could be daunting. I know everyone has a lot of paperwork and stuff, but please repeat these trainings because you never know. On the non-allowable list, all of a sudden, certain things like, let's see, wow, they're going to put diapers. No, I wish. They're going to put, like a bed protector back on the allowable list. Personal training or on the allowable list. If you understand what I'm saying. So this way, and even the GPS tracker, you don't know, maybe within 6 months it's now goes to the allowable list. So that's why I'm saying to everybody, keep up with writing and give them an explanation. Please don't threaten them. It doesn't work when you threaten. They'll just dig their heels in and not listen. And I do know this. But yet, when I brought up the medical profession is very like, what are the guidelines? I could see the light bulbs in their head like, oops, maybe we should have done that. And no, I didn't threaten or yell or scream. I brought it. It was fine. But I make it as this is a fact. My child's doctor is not sure how to write it up. My care manager wants to make sure she puts it correctly in my child's life plan, if my child has a life plan. And if the child doesn't have the life plan, the agencies that do reimbursement, they need help to where to send the parent, what to do if there's issues. They can always send them to the advisory councils, because my counterparts in the other boroughs, let me say, Mary McGuire, they have 2 chairs in Manhattan. They are able to do it. The Bronx, Tina Vale, I can, and the Staten Islands, and we hope Queens can do it, but we don't know because she wasn't at the last meeting, so I have to be appropriate like that. So that's what we have to do. Does anybody else have any questions, concerns in reference to this?
Matt,
or if you have
this is Chris.
Yes,
I
please.
just put Nick's email onto the chat. Right now, I'm on an emergency backup Wi-Fi right now because it seems something in the area, wherever they're doing, is interfering with my end, but your end is working. So I'm not going to play around with with that. But as a reminder, everyone, Nick's information is available on the website on both councils. So please, everyone, please check on our websites and share that to the families, which I'll share that in a little bit. But according to the agenda, this is the time you and Rose need to discuss the future of this committee.
No problem. Rose, your turn now, dear. I'm taking a mini break to get something, my throat's dry. Thank you.
Can everybody hear me?
Rose, I can hear. Rose, I can
Yes, we can hear you.
Rose, I can hear you from
great.
the other ends of the earth. Is that better to hear?
That's good. I'm glad. All right. As I mentioned earlier, everyone, we really trying to make sure this committee we are providing with you with information and resources that are very useful and training that are useful for both providers and information to the families as well as the care managers. So if you have any training needs, training ideas, please don't hesitate to email myself, Debbie, and Chris, so we can make sure we get speakers in place for all of you and to provide those training information to you. I'm happy to see today that we do have about, at least 27, families and providers, on the call, which is great. And we want to continue to encourage attendance in this meeting because the work is only, fruitful when you all, attend the meetings and also share your ideas, and concern with us. The regions are there to work with us. All 4 regions, we're all working alongside each other. And I know we have provided a lot of feedback, to the Brooklyn region and also got a lot of feedback from them on how they're willing to help us out in any questions and issues, concerns that we may have. So coming together and collaborating like that, can only make us stronger. With that said, in terms of update on my end, are we going to go into announcement now, Deb?
Yeah, we should. Because I know
Okay.
I can see a lot in the chat. So let's call on different people.
Yeah, so before we call on this people, I just wanted to add that all the committees are up and running right now. We have the transition committee, we have our children's committee, family support committee. All the committees are up and running, and I encourage all of you. We all have so much to do, and sometimes we cannot attend all the committee. But maybe if you can alternate or identify one person from your program that can attend, you don't have to attend all of them. So if you have a designated person for this committee, you could have a designated person for the families, for the children's committee, right? So we encourage all of you to have someone attend all the committees, in particular the Brooklyn City Council committees, right? Because all the committees have something worthwhile to share with families and providers. So as many people as can attend and bring back the information to their programs or provider, it's really helpful. All right. I know there was a lot of announcements in the chat.
Rose, Debbie, I want to go first for an announcement.
Okay, go ahead, Debbie.
Okay, thank you. This Friday at the Kings Highway Library from 11 to 1, we're having a mini resource fair. Please have your families come. We have no more tables available because we're not in the regular size room. So please understand you're free to bring your information and we will see that it is given out. And we are working with Carrie Banks, and we appreciate that she was able to help us. It's a small resource fair. It's a start. But this is through the Brooklyn Family Support Service Advisory Council. And if you are interested for the future ones, you need to please contact Christopher Greif and Deborah Greif through the Advisory Council, and we will work to see which of the sites we have more room. Now, one other thing you have to all remember too, there are fire codes. I do not want the Brooklyn Public Library to have any problems because we went over the allowed amount of people in the room for the fire code. So please understand, this is also the first time we're meeting back in doing anything in person. So please understand and be supportive and help us. And when we get to give you the dates of when the next one is, we will ask you. We will let you know how much room we have. Please respect us. We are giving free tables, but we're also giving you places that it could be put down for free in the Brooklyn Public Library. Thank you. I see Sandy Napier. Sandy?
Hi, you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay,
You have a question on
great.
Debbie's thing, what she just said?
No, I have an
Technically,
announcement.
there's one thing that Sandy, we're going to hold you right there because there was one thing that I have to do first, and then we'll do announcements that we do need to make, because there are 2 councils.
Okay.
We do need to remind everyone here. So Sandy, leave your hand where it is, because you're the first one. But this is
Mhm.
just to remind everyone, as Deborah's mentioning, because there is some issues. And Sandy, I need you to back Debbie up on this. Before we continue, I want to remind everyone that's on the chat that both websites are available. Please, agencies and parents here, please use that website, as Rose is saying. I want to remind everyone, it does have all the schedules of all committees, including both councils, the advisory council and the DD council. Please, everyone, do your part of doing that. And as Deborah mentioned about the Development Resource Fair, that is this Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So please do not try to come in supersonic early, because the library opens at 10. We have to set up. So we want to remind that. Second, DD Council and Advisory Council went back to their normal schedules. Please look at their schedules very carefully, because some of you are saying that they're still doing joint. The answer is no. As Brian has said this, Deborah can vouch this, and Rose. As of October, the Advisory Council goes back to the third Tuesday. DD Council meets on the fourth Monday. Unless there's a holiday, you will be notified on either website. Please share these websites to everyone. These will give you information and up-to-date information. So if you have questions on that, please put that into the chat. We will get back to you as soon as possible. But as Deborah's mentioned, we have other dates that Development Disability Resource Fair will be going to different locations, even a bigger spot. We will let everyone know, but I remind you, please do not send us a short notice date, because we cannot do that. We have to follow fire code and ADA accessibility space for any wheelchair walker to come in. You know that we have to follow those laws. If anyone has a question, please put that in the chat. Thank you.
Now
And if
your
anyone else has an
Sandy.
announcement, please raise your hand.
Hi, everybody. I just want to let you know that I'm Sandy Napier with Adapt Community Network, and we have 3 great free webinars coming up. I just want to remind you that we always provide Mandarin and Spanish translation, and everyone needs to register to attend. Also, all the links to register to the webinars that I'm talking about will be in the chat. So first, I want to let you know about the one coming up on Thursday, October 19th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's called Supporting Social Skills Throughout the Lifespan. And Dr. Michelle Gornstein from Weill Cornell Medicine will be our speaker. The next one is on Thursday, October 26th, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And that's going to be Intro to Preschool Special Education. Include NYC will be our presenters. And then on Thursday, November 2nd, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., we're having Intro to Access VR, what it is, how to apply, and what to expect. Alex Elagudin from Advocates for Children will be our speaker, and I hope many of you will be able to attend and tell the people you support to attend. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Sandy. Just put raise your hand. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, Christopher, who's next? Because I can't say the moment. Okay. Let me go through the chat. Does anybody else have announcements? You want to raise your hands? You can. Well, Rose, we'll see if nobody else has any announcements or questions. Hello? There you are, Rose. Yes. I don't know.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I see anyone with their hand in the chat. Everyone put their announcement on the chat. I don't know if they want to go through it.
I see someone. Raquel Pina. She has her hand up. Sorry.
Raquel,
Yes, now I can.
Raquel Pinnock, yes. Can you hear me? Hi everyone. My name is Raquel Pinnock and I'm from AHRC, New York City. I am a regional director covering the day programs in Brooklyn. I just wanted to let everyone know that we have openings at our programs. If anyone is looking for day services, I will put our information for our referral department in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your announcement. Does anybody else have any
Madam
have any
Co-Chairs, be
announcements?
advised that the Roxanne Prasad's representative staff left the information into the chat, so he had to run. But so just want everyone to know that his
Understood.
information is there, and he heard everything he had to say today. But I do want to remind that we do have Ms. Richardson here from the Brooklyn Public Library. If she has an announcement, or other agencies who are still here, it's nice to hear from you, your announcement, so it's duly noted. So can you guys please raise your hand so Deborah can see it, as well as Rose? So Ms. Richardson, you're first. So you just blinked your hand up.
Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. How are you, Christopher? Yeah, I placed the announcement in the chat earlier, talking about what is upcoming, the two in-person, which Sandy, I believe, talked about, which is the one that's the Developmental Disability Resource Fair, which is going to be this Friday, the 13th, and it's going to be at the Kings Highway Library. And the address for that one is 2115 Ocean Avenue. And the time for that is going to be from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. And that's going to be presented by, of course, the Brooklyn Family Support Services Advisory Council. And any questions that you have about services or programs for people with autism, intellectual disability, or developmental disability, please come out. They're also going to answer different questions about MTA Reduced Fare, Center for Independence of Disabled of New York, services provided, and more. And then the next one that's coming up is going to be on the 19th. And I placed that information in the chat for that one. If anyone has any questions, my information is in the chat. Thank you,
It's not a problem. Just to remind everyone, that information is on both on websites, so please make sure you guys do that. Visit the website, and also make sure you visit the both information that comes up. Chinese Planning Council, you just put something on, and I know your hand was raised, going in and out. Do you like to announce your information? And Madam Co-Chairs, I have to step away, so please check the hand raised. Thank you.
No problem. Chinese American,
Hello.
are you there? Hello.
Good morning. It's Pat from GHO.
One moment, Pat. I have
I'm
to
sorry, I cannot raise the hand. That's why.
Okay, all right. Okay, wait. Can you do me one favor? Just let's let Pat go, and then I'll let you go. Pat, go ahead. Put your camera back on, Pat, so I can see you. There you are.
Good morning, everyone. Long time. Yes.
That's right.
Pat Liu from Family Support Coordinator from GHO. I just paused our announcement on the chat. So basically, I would like to highlight the Family Support services, especially the case management service, that we can help the family who are interested in OPWDD service. We'll help them to get that eligibility, through all the evaluation referrals. And for the adult program, we do have the day-hab, site-based day-hab without wall, and community-based pre-vote service available. So please reach out to me if you have any question. And also, we have a CCO CDNY intake assistant for the Chinese or Korean speaking family. So if anybody who is looking for the assistant in this area, please reach out to the phone number that I just posted. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it.
You're
Now,
welcome.
Wei. Hi, Wei. Your turn. Thank you. Wei, can you hear? I can't hear you. You have to
He was
unmute your
muted.
mic. Now, are you unmuted? You have to unmute yourself. He can't speak. Can you put it in the chat? Did you put it in the chat for us? Okay. So, well, it's in the chat. Everybody will be able to read it. Thank you. Sorry about that issues. Anybody else who has an announcement? Okay. Rose, I don't see anybody else unless
Yeah,
what
I
can we?
don't see any more hands up, and I don't see all the announcements are on in the chat.
Okay, well, that's good. And will everyone please, as Chris gave the instructions how to save everything, but we have to, I want to say to everybody, and also one other important thing I forgot to announce. Please make sure if you have family support programs that you send your updated information to the Brooklyn DDRO. I will get back to you the information, so that you can make sure that when we do put out the family support guide, your information will be updated and correct. So if you know you have any changes, you can also email it to the advisory council and we'll make sure they get the information too, because I'm not sure who's doing it at the moment. So, and I don't want to give the wrong information, but please make sure your programs are updated. The current guide is on the Brooklyn Family Support Service Advisory Council's website. Please check it to see where your information, and if there's an issue, please let us know so we can help tell the DDRO to get it, we can correct it. Thank you. Rose, anything else we need to do?
No, I think that's pretty much it. The topic for next week to be determined, but we definitely want to hear from you all that's on the call if you have any ideas and suggestions for topics that we need to discuss in this meeting. Please feel free to email myself, Debbie, and Christopher. And I think that's it. Thank you all for being on the call. I know we're all very busy people. We don't have to stay on if we don't have to. I'm going to give you back another 45 more minutes of your time.
Yes, we do. So I want to thank everybody. Please, everybody, have a very safe day. Be safe. Also, remember next Tuesday on, I will give you the date, October, make sure, okay, October 17th is the Brooklyn Family Support Service Advisory Council. The Brooklyn DD Council will be on Monday, October 23rd, and try to get on 9:45. We're still Ring Central. The Brooklyn DD Council is doing Zoom. So, right, Rose, and please
our next meeting for the Family Provider Information Committee is going to be on November 8th.
Yes. And please, everybody, if you have suggestions or you know of a speaker, please let us know. And if also you want to do something about trainings on how to get services or help, whatever, let us know. Thank you. Okay, with that, we'll say, see everybody. I hope to see
Bye,
everyone.
everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week.
That's right. Thank you. All right, take care. Bye.
Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.